I respect you for not using CG. I respect you for keeping it practical. But goddamn, you got to put some more money in this, man.
Yeah, a little bit more lighting or just a tiny bit of CGI on that first effect, the one that you were talking about at the beginning. That could have looked better.
You cannot be this goddamn cheap, okay? I know that's your business model, but you got to put a couple of more dollars in this, all right? And I know they probably asked them. I know the people who made this movie. I know they told them, like, Mr. Blumhouse, this looks like shit. You can't do this, all right? Now, if you're going to do this shit, release it on video. And I ain't talking about on Netflix because Netflix got money. Put this shit out on Tubi or something if you're going to do this, okay? You can't do this shit. Y'all looking at it dark right here. When the shit comes out, because I ain't going to tell you to go to the theater and watch this, but when it comes out on video, I can't wait for y'all to see this shit in full light. I can't wait for y'all to see that old goddamn rubber monster they got up in here. All right, this is ridiculous, man. Hey everyone, Double Toasted in LA is getting close. Ticket sales are picking up. Get your tickets now before they're all out by going to dtmerch.com. Oh, you know what? Jason Blum. Somebody's like, who is that? Oh, you know Jason Blum. Come on, man.
Come on, get out of here.
Who's that guy? What do you do? Is he a TikToker? No, Jason Blum. Jason Blum has created a phenomenal, amazing, successful studio behind cheap shit. Well, I should not use that word because he's created some fine quality films out there at a low budget, which just is almost a genius business model.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking about some of the things that he's done. Some of them I love and some of them not so much, but I always respect the game. Mm-hmm. Name one of his successes out there.
What's it called? The Purge. Isn't that?
The Purge is one of them. Is Paranormal Activity from Blumhouse?
I'm not sure. It might be.
I'm not sure about that either. Insidious is one of his movies.
Was he involved with Get Out?
No.
No.
Maybe. I don't think so. Perhaps. I don't know. But anyway.
But lots of stuff.
Truth or Dare. Yeah. Maybe, you know what? Maybe Get Out was from Blumhouse. Yeah.
I thought so. That was like the first time that he gave a movie like $5 million or something.
Yeah. Okay. So I stand mistaken. One of my favorite movies. I didn't even know. Yeah. Get Out. One of the best movies of the decade.
Yeah.
Modest budget. Released through Blumhouse.
With a brilliant script.
With a brilliant script. Courtesy of Blumhouse. So needless to say, no matter how much he'll make a movie that I might not love, I'm always anticipating his next film or a film from his studio. And that is why I looked at this movie right here, which is Imaginary. Imaginary is a movie about a girl who finds a teddy bear, becomes her best friend. But of course, this is a Blumhouse movie, which means the teddy bear crazy and kills people. It's not just a teddy bear, it's a demon teddy bear.
It's a scary bear.
Yeah, a ghost bear or something. You know, I didn't know what this was. I thought it was a teddy bear inhabited by the spirit of a real live bear or something.
At least it wasn't like a demonic possessed bear.
Or was it? But anyway, as I said, you know, imaginary friend cannot just be a simple, benign, friendly imaginary friend in a Blumhouse movie. No, it has to be something sinister behind it. Something behind this bear is not right. Mysterious, supernatural, and evil things happen when this bear is around. Oh, what the hell is going on with this imaginary friend? Well, that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of. This bear was discovered by a little girl whose mother, and she's already going through something. Mother went crazy. They had to commit her. Father's married a new fine black thing. You know, even Julian, the other Julian, even Julian Green would have to be like, damn, I might get with that.
A Nubian queen.
Yeah, my Nubian queen. DeWanda Wise plays the stepmom here, Jessica. Jessica moves back in the old house that she was raised as a kid. And something weird stuff happened with Jessica, with her imaginary friend. So why the hell she wants to go back to this house, I don't know. But that's passed down to the stepdaughter now in the form of this bear. And it seems like what was happening years ago is now starting to repeat its sinister ways. Let's go ahead and take a look at this trailer for Imaginary, and we'll be back to give our very real reviews.
Chauncey says you're not allowed to play with us.
Oh.
Because you left him.
I thought it's because you're black. Little racist girl.
That would have really made my eyebrows rise.
That would be a horror movie.
Yeah, that little white girl calling her mom the N-word. That would be
Chauncey says, I'm not allowed to play with N-words.
You've been spending time with a new friend?
Oh, now they used to have that sad white girl that would sing these sad versions of the pop songs. Mm-hmm. Now they got the sad black dudes.
just slowing down the song. It sounds like the original. Just with.
Except sadder.
Yeah.
Sounds like what they did with Dum, dum, dum. I got 5 on it, trying to make it scary. Yeah, that's the new trend right there. It was kind of cool at first when they did it with Us.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's like, okay, this is getting old.
But there was something to that remix.
Yeah, ain't nothing here.
Dumb.
Yeah, they don't have the same ring to it here.
He says he's right behind you.
But it was just my imagination.
So I was just talking about how Blumhouse Pictures Studios, how they do things on a modest budget. It used to be a time where you would get $5 million and your ass better not ask for more.
Even less.
Even less. Yeah, you have to be extra special to get that whole $5 million. Mm-hmm. And if you really had a good script, they might make an exception and give you more, such as the case with, I believe, Get Out. I mean, they ain't getting a little bit more.
I thought Get Out was fine, but Five Nights at Freddy's got a little bit more.
Did they get a little bit more?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. So, you know,
pay handsome.
There's a time that they'll actually will break that rule. But I always thought, like, the thing that I really admired about, because I don't mean that as an insult, I do think Blumhouse is one of the best studios out there from a business perspective, because they always worked with less. And for horror, which they mostly do, with, again, some exceptions, Whiplash being one of them, but mostly horror. I always thought with horror, you know, a lot of times with horror, less is more.
Absolutely.
And I thought that's why they had a lot of success with their horror films, because they weren't overblown with CG effects and all that kind of stuff. Less is more with horror. Not here. They needed way more with this movie. I mean, listen, this movie is so cheap in parts that I feel suckered. I feel like y'all playing me for stupid with this movie right here, man. Because now before you were being smart, before it was the cheap budgets were adding to creativity. Now you're just doing it to just get a buck. Now you're just doing it to save some money and get paid. And when they do put effort into this movie, and when they do decide to just kind of spend just a little bit of money, it looks like shit.
Yeah, they hide it.
They either hide it, or when they put it in the, even just when they put a little bit of a spotlight on it, you're like, damn, that looks bad.
Is that a rubber glove on someone's face?
I'm gonna tell you, first, the marketing with this movie is bad.
You think so?
I totally believe so. I stand by it. I stand firm, like Superman pose. I stand firm on that.
Because that's one thing about this movie. I saw a trailer and I was like, this doesn't look the best, but I love this idea. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, what I think is bad about it is that with this trailer right here, because you see the bear sitting there, and I think they were trying to get people to believe, because I heard this from a lot of people. They said, oh man, this is going to be the new Megan. A lot of people thought they thought this bear was going to be out there killing people, doing the sexy dance like Megan. Little bear paws out there just getting the stinky arms. They thought he was going, that bear's going to be wearing a skirt and getting down and shit. Nah, man. No, you know what this is? This is more, it's not the new Megan. It's more like Insidious and Annabelle.
Yeah.
Because most of the time that bear ain't doing nothing but sitting on his little brown ass.
Sometimes he'll turn and look at you.
He did put a little more work than Annabelle, because Annabelle just sit there the whole time and do shit. But Chauncey, Chauncey every now and then, he'll put in a little work. He'll turn his head a little bit. Every now and then he'll kind of lean or something, But most of the time he's just sitting on his ass, influencing people to do crazy shit, telling people to do crazy things. And the Insidious part comes in because near the movie, they try to go to some old spook house.
Yeah. I mean, the whole movie has that feel of just going like, ooh, look in the background, scary thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's random.
And you can even see in here where they have they have Insidious. Let me see, like this right here. Like they got damn Darth Maul back there in his shadow. You know, he even brought his ass back on trying to save some money.
Yeah, when they show that guy close up, it's like, you wearing a giant sock?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Yeah, this demon or whatever they got, this movie's so cheap, they don't even show his ass. They can't even afford to put makeup on him.
They kind of show him, but like, it doesn't look good.
No, man. You know, the funny thing about this is that I do believe that there are some good ideas in here.
That's the thing I was going to say. I'm glad you mentioned that. There are ideas in this movie I love from other movies, like Beetlejuice and Coraline, just ripped right out of those movies.
Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. There are some good ideas in here, man. In the movie, when it starts out, look, I'm an honest man.
Tell me about your honesty.
I'm an honest man, and I'm a fair man. Mm-hmm. I'll give credit where credit is due. I'm not no hater.
It's about to be a short list, but let's hear
It's a very short list. That's why, I got to get it in when I can. I got one thing.
Number one, the Halloween store.
I got one thing that I can say good about this movie right here. I will say that it has a great setup. They kind of blew all the budget on that stuff, but they have a great setup here. It's mysterious. They introduce questions that you want to find out about later. It's kind of creepy. It's in a way, it's also setting up a little bit of tragedy. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I thought his ass was the bear. Tell me ain't no big ass Billy Bear looking snaggletooth son of a bitch. I said, Chauncey already coming to life.
It's got those eyes.
Help me get back to my bear form.
Did you find my tooth? I'm blind or some shit now.
That setup right there was actually pretty funny. Pretty. I'm laughing about. No, I thought this was pretty good. And at first I thought they were even setting this up to be a little more gory because my man's teeth are laying all over the place and he's pulling this shit out with a wrench and he's bleeding from the mouth at the beginning. This is a very soft PG-13 after this point right here. So don't let this old bloody ass mouth right here fool you. It's not what you think it is. And that's another thing I think there's been a problem with these Blumhouse movies as of late. It's trying to cash in so much on a wider audience and with teenagers and kids that I'm not a guy who always pushes for rated R, but they've been so soft and so held back with these PG-13 movies so that they can earn a little bit more money. It's taking and I guess pun intended, taking a bite away from some of these movies right there.
I thought that there was a decent amount of blood in this movie. I mean, there are some parts where it's like, man, you guys are being cheap with that. And they did have a very lazy use of the word in this movie. Like, it was like, that should have been cut.
Yeah. This picture, girl, that's what happens when you ain't got dental insurance. You gotta use tools and shit.
You better brush your teeth.
That's the real horror movie. Bad hygiene.
And I think it's funny that you say at the beginning it had some good ideas, and it did, but it looked cheap right from the start, man.
Well, yeah, no, it did. But see, the thing is, I think that's the problem. I think it presents good ideas, it sets up good ideas, but they're not fleshed out. The movie will present an idea. It'll set up an idea, and then it'll do the setup, but it won't follow through. And so then the movie just moves at this really dull pace. And every now and then, they'll throw in a cheap ass jump scare. And normally I complain about jump scares. I ain't complaining about that here. You need those to wake your ass up. This shit is boring. I was sitting up there, when you go to the theater, the seats are too comfortable now.
Yeah. And they recline.
You recline and legs up, and I was like, shit, I'm knocking out, man. They ain't doing a goddamn thing here. And every now and then they do a jump scare, like, oh. And I was like, all right, shit, that's good. That's the only thing keeping me from falling asleep on this movie.
Yeah, they had some stuff in the background where it's like, oh, there's a person there. But I hate to say this because I feel guilty saying it, but I really thought that the direction and the cinematography was really lacking, and it lacked vision.
I thought this, for the budget that this had, that it was okay. The cinematography was fine. The thing is, the movie doesn't look cheap when it comes to filming it. It looks like, they had enough money to get good camera equipment.
Yeah.
And good lights. Yeah. That's about it. But the movie's boring, man. The movie is, for a movie that's supposed to be, setting this up with a creepy kid with a scary, creepy doll. Because, sometimes dolls, before Megan came up with her sex ass doing things, creepy dolls were, they were scary. Mm-hmm. And this is something where they doing that thing again. Well, like I said, most of the movie, that bear don't do nothing but do that shit right there. Mm-hmm. Sit on his ass.
Lazy ass bear.
Yeah, that bear's not doing anything. These people are talking and talking and talking their ass off. I'm gonna get to that point in a minute. And it gets to a point in the film where there are things that are not even supposed to be a big part of the movie. They end up being the scariest things.
Yeah.
The scariest thing in the movie ain't that goddamn bear. The scariest thing in the movie ain't that damn demon hiding in the background. If you want to know the thing that's going to get people, and they already spoiled it in the trailer, the scariest thing in the movie is a piece of wood with a nail in it.
Yeah, that was the part where I was like, there was a little bit of tension. Yeah. I felt that too.
Yeah, that's the part I have to admit. I've got mad because I'm like, I don't want to give this movie none of my goddamn scares or have the movie thinking that it's moving me in any kind of way. But I do have to admit that there's a scene here where this little girl is about to impale herself with a nail, and that piece of wood and that nail, that's the biggest, scariest villain in the movie. Look, they ain't doing a goddamn thing, just sitting there. They ain't doing a thing. What he does, I tell you, Blumhouse, they make me mad. These villains, man, they'll do him and Annabelle and all some of these other creatures don't do nothing for their money.
Looking like the Tin Man oil can. Oil can.
Yeah, see, that is the scariest part in the movie, and even they kind of cheated with that.
That wasn't in the movie like that.
Yeah, it was.
It was like with the flower on it. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, no, it was. Trust me, for somebody who was sleeping throughout this movie, I took note of as much as I could.
I'm glad to see that Plank from Ed, Edd n Eddy has had a career.
Yeah, make him a character. That ain't doing nothing. And then they get to a point where you can see they spent no time. They spent no time on this script. And see, it's funny because all due respect to Blumhouse, I respect the game, I respect your business model, and I have for years. But now y'all it's doing shit to rip themselves off. Blumhouse with this movie is ripping itself off. It's almost cannibalizing on itself. Or if it's not ripping its own self off, then they get to the Exposition lady. Mm-hmm. This is Betty Buckley. Betty Buckley was big back in the 70s and in the 80s, and now they got her. It's just sad the way they do this woman here.
Yeah, I can see why you're saying it. It kind of has similarities to these possession movies because that's kind of like the person who explains, who the demon is.
But usually, they have a person who comes and explains what the demon is, and we know this is a cheat, and I'll tell you why. But usually they do a little bit more. They'll hunt down a ghost or something. They'll do something active.
She has some weird ass lines.
This woman don't come in here and do nothing. All this woman comes in and she's there to save them time writing the script. This is a goddamn shame what they did with this woman. This woman came in and she turned this movie into a class about Chauncey the Demon. She might as well just pulled up a podium and just, I think Martin said this is one of his things. She might have just pulled up she held a TED talk for this movie. She don't do nothing but run her mouth, and she's one of those characters who she has all this knowledge and all this information on this demon, and it's not explained why.
Yeah,
because she wrote some books. But what the f did he write these books for?
And she knows about all the other characters too, and that led to her saying some dumb shit.
She's a woman who wrote a book about demons and imaginary friends who just happens to live right down the street from where this shit is happening.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to give it away what her role in this movie is, but she's been a part of the protagonist's life for a long time. Her role in this movie is to have them put the camera on her and say, "Now here's what happens." She's seriously just telling people. I mean. When I say, man, listen, I use exposition as a criticism all the time. I say that, look, this is nothing but an exposition part of the movie, expository character, all this kind of stuff. But seriously, they put the camera on her and let that shit just run. Mm-hmm. And she just tells people about this demon and everything about him. And they don't have, and what's funny about it is like at least another movie would have,
they would come in and make an attempt to put like some cool flashbacks.
Yeah.
Or something there. They ain't got no money to do that.
No.
They ain't got no, so they just put this camera on this poor woman and just let her run her mouth. This has some cheap production.
And near the end, you can see the budget run out.
Thing is, it has production. It's just cheap production, man. I mean,
For a haunted house, it would look good.
well, for a haunted house that rips off Tim Burton, because I was like, because the problem with this, it either looks fake or it looks like when they go into this ghost world at the end, it looks like some shit where it looks like a Tim Burton ripoff.
It looks like Beetlejuice. It looks like that one scene, like the Hall of the Dead or whatever.
Yeah. And it's funny because they keep trying to make it look like these 6 doors are in different places. Like, y'all keep reusing this shit. We know what you're doing.
Yeah. All I saw, I guess, that's what they were trying to imply. I just saw him walking in a circle.
Yeah. We know you ain't got no money to make damn 50 doors. We're not using the same 6 doors over and over again. You ain't fooling nobody.
It's not even a room.
Nah. Doing this Scooby-Doo shit right here. I know what y'all doing, man. Oh, boy. But at least that looks pretty decent. If y'all want to know where they didn't give a this budget though, boy, let me tell you what they did in the end, man. Right at the end of this movie, I'm surprised they even showed this shit. Let me see here. At the end, you can't see it too much right here, but at the end of this, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, I guess, but that bear, he reaches his final form. They give you a glimpse of it in the middle of the movie. And notice how dark they keep that shit right there. You see how dark that is? That is not for dramatic effect. That's because that shit is cheap. Mm-hmm. There's a point when that bear reaches his final form and they got the nerve to put just a little bit of a spotlight on it. And then you could it looks a notch above Freddy Fazbear.
Fazbear?
Yeah, whatever his name is. Fazbear, whatever. That shit, it's a man in a big ass party costume. It looks like this shit right here. It looks like a man in a costume. That bear can't even. The bear is so cheap and so big. That bear takes 2 steps and said, "I can't do this no more," because it's gonna fall over like that.
Yeah, it seemed like they were trying to build up tension, but then it's like nothing happens.
No, it looks like a costume, not only from an '80s movie, but from an '80s low budget film. I was like, God damn, Jason, I know you cheap, but man,
yeah, they could have done that.
When your shit is looking like a high school mascot, I mean, you can even see where the shit is kind of falling apart at the seams right here, and it's dangling over here. And
it looks like they took Booster from Jingle All the Way and just painted him brown.
Yeah, it really, and I can't say if this is the case, but it really is something like if that bear took 2 more steps, that shit was just gonna fall apart. They had that shit come up and that bear is in the corner talking about run.
Yeah, he was stapled to the wall.
Yeah, he couldn't move. Like there was like somebody behind him was against the wall holding his ass up or something. But he talking about and the woman in the movie, what's her name? Whatever her name. She had a knife and she was waiting for him to come over there, and she had to walk to him and stab his ass. They got another creature in here. You could tell it's all rubber and everything. I'm like, come on, man.
That one looked really bad, I thought.
I was like, I respect you for not using CG. I respect you for keeping it practical. But goddamn, you got to put some more money in this, man.
Yeah, a little bit more lighting or just a tiny bit of CGI on that first effect, the one that you were talking about at the beginning. That could have looked better.
You cannot be this goddamn cheap, okay? I know that's your business model, but you got to put a couple of more dollars in this, all right? And I know they probably asked them. I know the people who made this movie. I know they told them, like, Mr. Blumhouse, this looks like shit. You can't do this, all right? Now, if you're going to do this shit, release it on video. And I ain't talking about on Netflix because Netflix got money. Put this shit out on Tubi or something if you're going to do this, okay? You can't do this shit. Y'all looking at it dark right here. When the shit comes out, because I ain't going to tell you to go to the theater and watch this, but when it comes out on video, I can't wait for y'all to see this shit in full light. I can't wait for y'all to see that old goddamn rubber monster they got up in here. All right, this is ridiculous, man. Now, you know what? Then this is what happens. When you start making money, you start thinking you can get by with anything.
Yeah.
Oh, the Blumhouse ain't gonna get me by.
More like get by on nothing.
Yeah. Goddamn. We got a spider creature here looking like Sigmund the Sea Monsters.
Yeah, that thing looks like a rubber glove.
Yeah, shit.
Look. That looked like styrofoam arms duct taped to your back.
They have a creature here and they trying to get by with low lighting and shit. Get the you ain't fooling nobody, man. I'm telling you right now. They intentionally keep things dark. They made a mistake and put that bear in too much light. And you can see how cheap that is. But that damn spider creature, that squid monster, whatever they had, they kept that in the. You know what I'm saying? But you know
No,
what
I know exactly. No, it was a spider, but yeah.
And they kept that shit in the dark. But I guarantee if somebody cut the light on, this should be looking like this right here. Yeah, they be looking like this shit right here. There's your creature with the light on.
That's scarier.
Yeah. Yeah. You ain't fooling nobody with this shit. No, man, listen. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna probably give this a
Really?
yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna get because man, it's supposed to be a horror movie. And they doing everything to like save money on the horror, which makes it not horror. They got points in here where if they ain't sitting up here giving exposition about some woman who knows everything about this demon, if they ain't sitting up here babbling about that and letting this woman sits up here for about a minute telling you the where people should be showing and not telling. Mm-hmm. They spend a minute on that. But what's this fine ass girl's name in here? DeWanda Wise. DeWanda Wise, if they don't have these long scenes of exposition, then they have her, they create forced drama. And this is really why I'm bringing the movie down because of, this is what I meant by people just running their mouths just to save time. They got this storyline in there where they just create forced drama where she's trying to be the nice stepmother. And they go through the regular tropes that you see with that. The little girl, she's cool. She's like, oh, I got a new mom and she's nice. And meanwhile, they got the teenager who's being a bitch the whole time. Yeah. Like we've seen over and over and over again.
This movie is filled to the brim with extremely lazy cliches down to like the heartthrob neighbor, right?
It does feel like a rip. It feels like and for somebody that's already cheap, they don't need to be doing no cash grabs like this.
No, it definitely feels like a first draft script. I mean, the characters, nothing. Story, nothing. Like I think I enjoyed this a little bit more than you because I thought that they're like beyond like the ideas that I mentioned that they were ripping off. There's some interesting twists that if this was written better, they could have done something with it. But I've seen cheap horror movies this year that I thought was way better than this.
This is straight up some bullshit, but for me, just on a personal level for me, this is just you, man. I ain't got time for this. I got things to say.
Yeah, I would give this an extremely smelly rental. It's a rental you rent, you open the box, it's like, oh, this is actually bullshit. Yuck. But there was stuff in here that was making me unintentionally laugh so I can get something out of that. And by the end, it is going crazy. There's some really funny looking stuff, but this is not good.
So you talk about the cute boy that lives next door, mm-hmm. that the bitchy teenage kid likes, the stepdaughter. Mm-hmm. He comes over, and of course he's bad news. He comes on immediately. He gets tired when he can't do that. And
he offers her like drugs.
Yeah, he's trying to give a Molly, which that's just a funny twist. That's a funny twist on that. But then he's like, well, shit, she ain't gonna give me no ass. He starts looking around. Shit, I'm gonna take your daddy's alcohol. He goes and starts taking alcohol, and then he ends up around and spilling it. But then she's like, go get a towel, you dumbass. And he goes upstairs to do it. And you saw it in the trailer. This is what he sees.
Friend.
Oh shit. God damn, the computer don't like the movie.
He's not your friend.
Okay. So this dude went upstairs, saw a damn toy moving by itself, turned into a big ass demon bear. Goes downstairs, don't mention nothing about it anymore. Doesn't say shit that there's a demon bear upstairs.
To be fair, right before that, he looks in the mirror. He's like, okay, you're tripping. It's all good.
But then there's something that was revealed about this. It's like, no, man. Right. No. You see the real cocaine bear upstairs. Shit.
This guy's like placebo.
Yeah. He goes downstairs and doesn't mention a goddamn thing about this at all. He ain't even sweating or nothing. I was like, no. See, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about with this. No follow through, just laziness. You. I got shit to do. Don't waste my time like that. And what was your?
I'd give it like a high bullshit, like smelly rental.
Okay. All right.
Just because I think there's some stuff worth looking. It's worth laughing at with a group of people. I think it can be fun to watch.
Okay, well,
but it ain't great.
All right. Well, Chauncey got one friend. Okay.
Yeah, maybe for a day, once a week.
I'm not your friend, Chauncey. Real or imaginary. You wasting my time. You can kiss my ass. Bull. Oh, it got me confused now. You. My rating through and through. Well, you made it to the end of the video. That must mean you really like what we do. So if you do, check out these other videos just like this one. Check out our other YouTube channels and subscribe to join our wonderful Toasty community. And as always, stay toasty.